What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Submission Fishing Live. To all the sorry about that, all the future black belts and current black belts in fishing. Welcome. Glad you can be here. Let's see who we got in the house today. Peter 86. Oos, welcome. Benji Moreno, what's going on? Benji in the house. Welcome back, Benji. Doug Rubin. Doug became a member. Welcome, Doug. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. Welcome to the membership group. Now you're an elitist. Maybe that makes you. You're a white belt still. We got some blue belts in here. Black belt tuna angler. Eric Lehman, Oos, what's going on? Eric, welcome to the show. Am I the only person who keeps trying to turn up the volume on your show before it gets on? It's a good question. You might be. I don't know the answer to that. Let's see here. Carl Black, Oos, welcome. Glad you can join us today. Let's see. Using my new Slow Death Jigs Sunday. Looking forward to it. Heck yeah, dude. I'm excited. Let me know how it goes. Hopefully you get on them. Let me know what you're fishing for. You going out like deep sea fishing or just hitting the bay? That's good stuff. Let's see. Pokai. Oos, welcome back. Glad you could join us. Oh, you already answered. Rockfish, sheep's head, whatever's biting really. And the sand bass up here. I've been loving the jigs lately. That's awesome, man. Yeah, sand bass, they smoke those things. Yeah, the rockfish too. Yeah, rockfish, sand bass, you won't have any problems. The sheephead, I have not caught a sheephead on a jig. To be honest with you, I haven't really tried that much. To be fair, I haven't like gone out and like really given it a good college try on the sheephead. I have seen it. I've seen pictures of people catching sheephead on jigs, so I know it is a thing. They do eat them. I thought they were just kind of like a live bait shrimp thing, but they will eat the jigs. I personally, maybe that should be my goal. Maybe I got to try and go get one of those. So I've seen it. It is a thing. I've seen big ones too. But maybe you can be the first. Be the first slow death sheephead. That'd be awesome, man. Can't wait to see the pictures. Dave Rage, welcome. What's going on? What's up, y'all? Listening while I paint cabinet doors in my garage. And you were painting those last time too. We went out with Kevin. Or we went. How was that? This weekend, I think we went out with Kevin, and Kevin took me out to eat at one of his favorite places up in Bonsall. And I know Dave Rage lives up that way too. We called Dave, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sanding cabinets," so he didn't come meet us. But dang man, you're really working on those things, putting in the time. That's the only thing when you do like do-it-yourself projects, man. It's you got to have the time for sure. It's like not an overnight thing. You guys ever like painted a room or a house, and you're like, "Oh, I'll paint this room. It'll take me like half a day or something." Hell no. You're talking like a day, 2 days in. It takes way longer than it always seems like it's gonna be. Anyways, that's besides the point. I digress. Spinning Rod Rebel, Marvin, Oos, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Charted out of Oxnard on the Cobra, great crew, and on the fish, limits of calico and barracuda, halibut, whitefish, lingcod, rockfish, sand dabs. Dude, that's a hell of a mix. That's really good. Halibut, lingcod, rockfish, sand dabs. That's a good, and barracuda and calicos, man. That's a good trip. That's really good. Danny Perez, Oos, welcome. Glad you could join us. Glad you could be with us. John Escobar, Oos, welcome to the show. Good to see you again. You're always out there slaying, killing the spotties. John, the real question is, are you going to do Spotty Bowl next year? That is the question. I think you do well, dude, in the shore division or even the kayak. I see you out there in kayak too. You can do both, but I think you'd probably do well in that shore division. It's a smaller division, not too many people. Let me know what you think. Salty Dingler, Oos, welcome to the show. Captain Dan, Oos, North County. That's right, holding it down. Captain Dan, we got some special announcement from Captain Dan. Gave us some news today, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. Oscar 636, what's going on, Oscar? Oscar's another killer, man. That guy, he's had this. So Oscar's had this jig. I think you won it, right? He's got a Slow Death javelin. I think it's the 130, and it was like I keep seeing he goes out to where is it, La Jolla, and I keep seeing him like posting pictures of these fish, and I was like, dude, is it that same jig? And he was like, yeah, I've caught like 15 fish on this thing. So that's awesome. Glad you still got it, but Man, that slow death confetti's been, or what is that one? No, the snow cone. I think he's been putting in work, man. Glad it's working for you though. That's freaking awesome. Andreas, Oos, welcome. What's good? Not much, man. It's another beautiful day here in San Diego. Nice cooler day. Just trying to get close to those fishing days. Leonard Oos, welcome to the show. DJB Oos, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. Anthony Oos, what's going on, man? Welcome. I see now my name is highlighted, and I see it was really easy. I think I missed something. I don't know what that was about. Let's see. Planning on heading out to the mussel farm, about 150, 200 feet deep. Yeah, dude, this fish is probably fat over there. He's eating on those mussels for sure. Tip the jig with shrimp for the sheephead. Yeah, I think that would work for sure. But I mean, the sheephead, like shrimp, right, is that's like the bulletproof way to catch sheephead. If you guys don't know, but I wanted to get one on a jig without the shrimp. Right, I know they'll eat the shrimp, 100%. That is a good tip, though. I mean, you want to catch sheephead, shrimp is the way to go. Man, I crushed them last. I haven't caught a sheephead this year, I don't think. Last year I've caught tons, probably a dozen or more. I don't know why, but it was just I did a lot of sheephead fishing last year, and not so much this year. Let's see. See what else we got in here. Max Kim, Moose, welcome to the show. You can always tell when when you're sanding and you like missed the spots where you just burnt out. Yeah, you're gonna do spotty bowl? Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. Michael Tran, Oos, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. Stop by Shark Bait. Picked up some 20 grams. That's what I like to hear, dude. Where did you find him? I haven't seen that one yet. That's cool, though. I love seeing it, guys. I know Benji sent me a picture, too, where he was up in Tackle Express. Showed me a cool picture of their setup. So that's awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Fishing Reps. Oos, welcome to the show. Kevin Nakata. I've been trying to get a dodo on it, too, this weekend. Yeah, dude. They'll eat that thing. Dodos are, like, stupid, too. They're one of, like, the dumbest fish. When they're eating and they're just going – when they're going nuts, Dorado, they'll pretty much bite everything. I think it's good. How's the baby? She's good. So lots of sleeping. She went out today for her first little trip, went to the mall. She did really well. Didn't cry or anything, just ate. Then she got hungry on the way back and was bitching a little bit in the back of the car. But aside from that, not too much. Thank you, Doug. Thank you. Let's see here. Yeah, fishing rep still in Tahoe. So got some stuff to go over today. There was some big changes in the regulations, guys. So that's primarily what we're going to go over. It was ground fishing regulations. Shout out to Cal. He kind of tipped me off to that last week. And they're pretty significant changes. So we're going to go through them. We're going to go on their website, see what it's all about. There's some big negatives to it, but then there was also some wins as well. So it's a good and a bad. Looks like they're going to take place by 2023. So that'll be kind of our big topic today. Outside that, if you guys got any questions or anything, just let me know. We'll definitely get to them. And we'll get through the usual stuff, the news, all that. Salty said tap my mic. Did I change my settings? Can you guys hear me fine? Let me know. All right, let's see here. Fish counts. Fish counts look pretty good. Actually, look like he's kind of the same thing. I didn't get to pull it up for you guys. We pretty much go through them every week. The biggest story is how everything's changed. Lots of yellowtail, lots of Dorado, lots of yellowfin starting to come in. Like we talked about last week. If you didn't catch the last week's show, it was all about patties, hopping patties, finding patties. So if you guys are curious about what the season of fishing we're in currently, patty hopping. So search it for patties and all that. If you guys are into that, if you got a private boat or you're going out with somebody on boats, definitely look into that. And even if you're going on chartered boats, it's good to understand what you're looking for when it comes to the patty, because it'll, I think, make you a better angler when you understand what the patty is. Even if the captain's just taking you there and saying cast on it, knowing where to cast, what's underneath there, kind of what you're looking for. But yeah, that hasn't changed. I think that's probably going to round out most of the year until winter comes and they all leave. But bluefin are still out too, a lot more sporadic, but bluefin are being caught kind of everywhere. They're up in the Channel Islands, they're off, they're in, they're I think kind of hard to find. Once you can find them, people are still coming back with really good sized fish, but they're not as predictable. They're not, from my understanding, where where they're going, you can follow them. They're kind of all over the place. So they're still here. You're starting to still see bluefin mixed in with the yellowfin, and the Dorado and all that stuff. So nothing's changed on that front. It's kind of our late summer fishing, comes in every year, big bonito, all that good stuff. So fish counts look good. Really nothing it changed. Nothing looks bad. Nothing shut off. So that's good news for all you guys going out there. So if you want to get out and catch some fish, it's absolutely a good time to go do that. At least I highly recommend it. Let's see here. Yeah, the only negative this weekend is that's what I want to talk about. The weather is going to be bad. So if you guys are going out, especially on private boats or small vessels or something like that, definitely check it out. You can see here, this is kind of one of my go-to apps. We got Windy, and this is Friday. Tomorrow, it's not terrible. Like today wasn't too bad. Let me go up into where we live, up in this area. You can see the blue. It goes blue down here in the corner, and then as it goes darker. So when you see the green and the yellow, it's actually, worse conditions. But when you start getting in, look at that. When you go from today and then you're into Saturday, I mean, that's pretty hairy. If you're up here in the Channel Islands, I mean, that's almost unfishable. I mean, we're talking 30 mile an hour stuff. But even here, if you kind of stick to the inland, La Jolla, not too bad. But yeah, once you start getting out here, you're already in 20 mile an hour, 25 mile an hour winds. And that gets even worse later in the day. So just something to be aware of, guys. And then it cools down. Sunday morning's not too bad. Sunday's going to be a little better. Not too much. And then you can see there, like in the mornings where it's usually pretty good. That's Monday. So it looks like we're probably going to have to make you see next week. Look at that. It's so much better. It's like night and day. I don't even see any green around here. So definitely way better conditions next week than it is this weekend. So just keep that in mind, guys. If you're experienced and you know how to fish and you know what to do, go ahead and go out there. But just if you're out there in a kayak and you're going in La Jolla, wear the life vest and just be prepared to be pushed around. Get some white caps, and it's just more uncomfortable than anything. It's definitely fishable. You can do it if you know how to find the shelter in the islands, and if you're in the bays, you can find the coves. But just be prepared. It's going to be rough, but I know sometimes we only got the weekends to fish. But I just wanted to check it out. Leonard says, "Sounds like you're in a box." Let's see here. Let me do a sound check real quick. Bring up my settings. Oh, you know why? Good catch. Because this microphone's not even working. It's going through my my microphone through, but I don't see it on the list here either. So we might just have to go with the. I see what you guys are saying. Oh, there it goes. Test. Is that better? I bet it's better. It unregistered. Okay, thanks guys for saying that. So basically, it was picking up the mic from my camera, just the stock mic. This one got disconnected somehow. Once I unplugged it and plugged it back in, everything looks good. So hopefully that sounds better. If not, we'll work with it. Way better. Yeah, it's crazy, huh? How like this microphone compared to the stock webcam mic. At least I still had it for backup. So this one, I unplugged it and plugged it back in. It looked like it was working, but man, it's freaking nuts how different it probably sounds. The AMSR mark. ASMR mic. Yeah, I should go on Twitch, put on the go into that section, just start whispering things into the mic, crinkling papers, all that creepy stuff that they do. Thanks for catching that, guys. That's awesome. Let's see. So yeah, just be aware of the wind. That was just one thing I wanted to bring up. Long story short, if you're not that experienced, maybe don't go out this weekend if it's a problem. One of the hardest things about the wind is like landing the boat too.
like if you're newer, like I'm newer to launching boats and I've been launching them by myself now. And I can definitely tell on windier days when I got to like drive into the trailer myself and stuff. It's a lot trickier when it's really windy out. When it's dead, it's like so easy, but I had to pull it back out and redo a run one time because it was just pushing me all over the place. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? So annoying. Let's see. Then I got some news too. I don't see him in here. Captain Dan, where's your boy? It's Arnie Senko's birthday today. So I'm waiting for him. If you guys see him or he comes in the chat, don't tell him you heard it from me. Just start spamming happy birthday. So hopefully he comes in later. Arnie, I don't know like on a deep personal level, but I do know he's super committed. He's always at the events. He's always there taking pictures. He's part of the CCA. So he's just one of these dudes that is very involved in fishing, and he's a great asset to the community. He's been around for a long time with us. So if you see Arnie come in here, make sure you wish him a happy birthday. So happy birthday, Arnie, if you're watching the replay, or if I see you pop in here, I'll definitely give you a shout out. Jingle a 20 gram. Yeah. That's funny. Get your boy in here, Dan. Let's see. Other news is, so here's the thing, guys. We've got the submission at sea coming in September 24th. And some big news that I want to tell you guys about is that Captain Dan will be making pizzas for the trip. So on top of the trip and the fishing, on top of the jigs, on top of the shirts, on top of all that stuff, probably the number one thing you can look forward to is Captain Dan's pizzas. He confirmed it today. So you're going to get Captain Dan's pizzas on the submission at sea, the 24th. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 spots open. I'm not sure. So definitely go and get one if you haven't. They're almost full up, but I think that's super awesome. So if you're not going to go, that's a reason to go. Trust me. I've heard good things about those pizzas. He even made my wife a personal one when she was pregnant. So that was super awesome. So that's something to look forward to, guys. Thank you, Captain Dan. Let us know what we can do. Love to help you out there. We're still working out the logistics, but I asked Captain Bill. He said, yeah. He's like, I don't know how it'll work, but you guys can do it. So we don't know. We're going to cook them before, see if there's an oven on the boat. But for those of you guys that don't know, Captain Dan, he is the man when it comes to pizza. His favorite pizza is pineapple pizza. He loves making you ham and pineapple pizzas. So make sure you ask. Ham and pineapple, that's his specialty. He'll love to make it for you guys. Ooh, Arnie's going to be here soon. Looking forward to it. Just blow him up, guys. He won't even know. Just be like, yeah, dude, happy birthday, Arnie. Don't let him know we sold him out. Salmon on the sumo in Alaska would be awesome. Heck yeah. Can it be done? Any predatory fish will eat it. Yeah, dude, on the boat. We're doing it. We're going to make it happen. Even if we have to, like, I don't know. We're still figuring out the logistics, but somehow it's going to be done. Captain Dan, he's the hardest working man in showbiz and in fishing. Yeah, so you guys know. You can vouch for the pizza. Pineapple's bad luck. Is it just like bananas? We'll figure it out. That's right. I'm already booked for submission at sea. Heck yeah, man. It's going to be a great time. I'm just joking about the pineapple pizza. If you ask Captain Dan for a pineapple pizza, he might slit your throat and throw you overboard. So just be warned. He might put one of your fingers as one of the toppings on the pizza. Unfortunately, he's not Team Pineapple. But he is such a great guy, he'll make you one. Even though he's against it. Even though it's against his religion. I've seen him still pony him up. Wood fire pizza is all I'm expecting. Yeah, dude, easy. Simple. All right. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. We'll answer those at the end. I know I got a few from you guys. Let's see. We got, one more. The last thing I've got before we jump into it is check out the Doc Talk podcast tomorrow, guys. I was fortunate to go on there. So Chris, Darren, Kevin, it's Darren's podcast, the Doc Talk podcast. You can check it out on Spotify, all that good stuff. So they had me on. It was super great. Went out to a studio, and then that's I believe going to be launched tomorrow. So if you want to hear about slow pitch jigging and you're into that thing, you want to nerd out on it, it was super fun. Got to go in there and just BS and talk about jigging and my story a little bit. So I know you guys hear about it a lot on here, but go support the stream. Go check out his podcast. And then next week, we'll be on the CCA podcast. So that'll be, I think, next Thursday. So we'll get to that as well. So look for those guys. That was the last bit of news I had, but go support those guys, especially the CCA and the Doc Talk, the local guys. Help them keep their lights on and show them some love. Go 5-star the shows. And I know they're doing a giveaway. So check that out. Listen to them. Go see what you can get. Let's see here. Pineapple's bad taste, not bad luck. Here we go. Best taste. Off subject. Got any Florida trips coming up? The podcast sounds cool. Thanks, man. Yeah, I was just talking about that. Probably, I think I'm going to get in there to Florida maybe the end of the year. I don't know if I'm going to go maybe like Thanksgiving or something. Probably later in the year for sure. Then next year I'll be out there some more as well. But this year I'll definitely do a Florida trip. So if you're down, if you're in Florida, let me know. We'll make it happen. Joey Bassin, Oos, what's going on? Yeah, dude, it's good. I listened to it too. I've been listening to it. I mean, long before I went on it, but they've always got good people, good guests and stuff like that. All right, guys, here we go. Regulations and changes. Lots of big stuff in here. So what I'll probably do is read it. We'll go over it as we go. There's lots to unpack, lots to talk about. Some of it's set in stone, some of it isn't, but this is from the California's wildlife website. I'm going to put the link in here so you guys can reference it later or read along if you want to. But yeah, we'll kind of take it apart. Also, guys, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, so I'm just kind of reading it as you guys would. So if something comes up or we don't understand or if I get it wrong or interpret it wrong, I do apologize, but let's get to it. So big changes coming to the sport groundfish regulations coming in 2023. This is from the Fish and Wildlife California Department, so this is their official thing. And, we had a couple changes. I think, what was it, 2 years ago? One of the things that opened up was the deep fishing. We can now go 600 feet. And it was way shorter than that. I think you could only go like 200 or 300 feet prior to that. And they opened it up last year, but now we're getting some more changes. So significant changes to California's ground sport fishing regulations are expected starting next year in response to recent scientific information suggesting some nearshore groundfish species are in decline. I don't know what it doesn't have a link to the scientific information. So that's kind of whack. To reduce pressure on these stocks, fishing season will be shorter in nearshore waters, but opportunities in deeper waters anticipated. So it says the upcoming changes were developed by the Pacific Fishery Management Council, and I looked them up too. And it's my understanding, because I wanted, I'm trying to see what these organizations are. They're transparent public process. It's my understanding this is a group that is kind of a mediary between the public, commercial fisheries, and the state themselves. So I'll put this resource in here for you guys too. So these are kind of the guys making the decisions, my understanding. So the upcoming changes were developed by the Pacific Fishery Management Council over the past year to reflect the outcome of a public decision-making process where California Department of Fish and Wildlife worked with fishing industry representatives, non-governmental organizations, and state, federal and tribal governments to balance the needs for the fishing season closure in nearshore waters with the needs of the communities and the industry. The PFMC approved the recommendations for 2023 and 2024 at its June meeting. And this story just came out the 28th of July, so it's fresh here. So these things will go into effect 2023, 2024. So I don't think all the details have been ironed out really, but the things that are coming. Based on these recommendations, the National Marine Fisheries Service has begun the process of amending federal regulations. So this is interesting. Then we've got the National Marine Service, and I'll put this link in here. So a couple interesting things we've got at play here, just for you guys to understand, is that we have, just the resource, is that we have national federal agencies and we have state agencies at play. So we have the state fishery, And then we have the federally regulated industry, which is nationwide. So it's real confusing. I tried to study up in it. It just, I get more confused as it is. State lines, there's the state fishery, which extends so far off the coast. Then you turn into federal fisheries. Sometimes state fisheries hand over regulations to national federal fisheries. It's really confusing. So we've got two kind of fisheries in here. It looks like what they're trying to do is adopt some federal fisheries for the California stuff. So let's see the California fishing game. Yeah, so here we go. So the federal agencies are expected to take effect in January 23rd. The California Fish and Game Commission is considering the same changes to the ocean sport fishing regulations in state waters. So what they're doing is the federal guidelines are changing. So California is going to try to match the federal fishing guidelines for California. So I think up to a certain point, state regulations, I don't know when they disappear and when they don't. There's boundary lines drawn. I'm not really sure how that works, but it sounds like the changes they're making, California is going to just kind of accept theirs and maybe get rid of some of the old California laws. So California sport groundfish regulation divides the state into 5 groundfish management areas in which the fishing season, rockfish conservation areas for depth constraints, bag limits may differ. In 2022, nearshore ground fishing season lengths range from 8 to 10 months. But in 2023, so here's one of the crappy things. They're expected to shrink to not more than 5.5 months in all areas. So the groundfish regulations are divided. I've gone over that in the past shows. We have the state. If you go down and you chop it into like 4 or 5 pieces, we've got central fishing, you've got Southern California, etc. And the fishing regulations are different within there. So these are all being affected, and there's usually different times. So here, currently, what we're experiencing in Southern California district, where we fish in San Diego, is we have 10 months to catch rockfish, right? It's closed, I believe, December 31st, and then it opens March 1st. So all of February, all of January, all of February is closed. And we know this, right? Rockfish season is 10 months, and we know we can't fish it from January to March. So what they're saying is that they're going to close the rock fishing area. Is expected to shrink to not more than 5.5 months in all area. Not more than 5.5 months. So, I mean, that's a huge negative. That's basically, if we have a 10-month season to catch rockfish, they're going to shrink that. So it's not more than 5.5 months in all areas. Now, the negative part to that, and this is why you guys need to be CCA members, so we don't lose things like this. So they're going to shrink it to not more than, so the way that I read that is it could be less. So if it's not more than 5.5, they're saying that's like the maximum that you're going to get. It could be less. It could be 2 months. It could be 3 months. This is for the inshore or the nearshore rock fishing season. So we're losing at minimum half of our time that we're going to be allowed to fish for rockfish. So that's a huge thing, guys. And that sucks. So those of us that like to go rock fishing, we're not going to have that luxury. Especially, it's bad when we kind of rely on that in our winter, at least for me, that winter fishing, from like October to kind of December, when a lot of the Dorado and the yellowfin and the tuna disappear. That's when I like to go rock fishing. And then even early spring, before they come back, you like to go rock fishing. I mean, that's kind of what we have it for. So we're going to lose a lot of that. And that kind of sucks. So within the 10 fish daily combined rockfish, cabezon, and greenling bag limit, keep reading it here. Bag limits, 1 fish each of quillback and copper rockfish. I think that was the same. The 4 fish for vermilion will continue to 2023. So those were things that were put in 2023. It used to be 5 vermilion you can catch. Then it was shrunk to 4 this year. So you only get 4, and then the 1 for the quillback and the copper. That didn't change. That's new. So these sub bag limits have been in effect since January 2022, and were necessary because of new information in 2021 indicated severe declines in the population of quillback and copper rockfish of California, and recreational vermilion catches. Yeah, the one thing I don't like is they don't cite any studies here. Like where are the numbers? Like they're just saying, oh, this study, but I mean, can you at least show me like where you're getting the information from? So that's pretty annoying. Not like they don't have not like they've ever talked out of their ass, right? Or just made up rules. I guess you're just supposed to take their word for it, I guess. Um, both sub bag limits and shortened fishing seasons are expected to achieve the necessary reduction in copper. Okay, so we got all that. Okay, so here's some of the changes. So we're going to lose a significant amount of time, obviously, in the time we're actually going to be allowed to fish, which sucks. But that's the bad. But there is some good stuff to it, and we're about to get to the good. And I think it's pretty good, and it's pretty cool too. So at least they're not kicking us in the balls and slapping us in the face. They're just kicking us in the balls and then shaking our hand afterwards. So I guess it could be worse. So here's some of the good stuff that's coming in. So while the groundfish seasons will be shorter for nearshore waters, and some bag limits are reduced, here's the big one. New opportunities for fish in deep waters beginning in 2023 will now allow anglers to target healthy populations of shelf and slope rockfish in deeper waters like schooling midwater widow and yellowtail rockfish or bottom dwelling blackgill rockfish. Additionally, the sport fishing season for some other federally managed groundfish species like sablefish, sometimes called black cod or butterfish, will be open year-round without depth constraints. Access to these previous closed areas means new experiences for anglers as they explore new habitats and new fishing locations, new target species, and new gear configurations to deploy. So that's actually really cool. They're going to open up some areas with no time regulations at all. So what they're saying is our nearshore stuff is going to be limited. And here's another resource I'm going to put up for you guys. So the nearshore rockfish, this is what they're talking about. So nearshore rock fishing is we're going to lose this season quite a bit. So they're going to reduce this by half. Now, the nearshore is the stuff we're all familiar with, right? The China rockfish, the gopher, the kelp, the grass, the black and yellow. Let me put this in the chat too, so you guys have this resource. So this nearshore is where we're going to lose a lot of our fishing. The shelf rockfish, we're going to lose some too, because a lot of those, they're in there. So it says shelf rockfish are generally taken in deep waters on the continental shelf. Let's see, we got some of our, the Boccaccio is probably the biggest one. I see those even shallow too, but we'll have some more opportunities for those. The chili pepper is another one I see kind of mixed in both. The canary, chameleon, cowcod, dwarf, cowcod you can't even catch, Mexican, the starry. So these are like kind of our traditional shelf rockfish, but those are also found in with the nearshore stuff. But so what they're opening up is the slope rockfish. Now the slope rockfish, these are things we almost never catch because of the depth restriction. So the slope rockfish are generally found in deeper waters of the shelf and down the continental slope. These fish are not often encountered by sport fishermen. Slope rockfish include the aurora, the bank, the blackgill, dark blotch, Pacific Ocean perch, red banded, yellowmouth, split nose. Yeah, a lot of those. And then the cod that they were talking about too. So this is one of the blackgills. I was just looking up pictures. I never caught some of those. So we're going to have opportunities to catch some of these. And the most exciting thing is this is the black cod or the sable fish that they're talking about. So the fortunate thing about that is they're going to open up apparently no depth restrictions, what they say. No depth restriction and all year round fishing. Hopefully it stays that way if they're going to close down our other fishing and we're going to have this one. I believe this is going to be in 2023. And what's cool about these fish is that I was just doing some research on them a little bit because, I was kind of unfamiliar with their. For one, they're great eating fish. Black cod is the bomb. Butterfish is what they call them. Really good. And these things have been known to be a mile deep. I mean, obviously, we're not fishing 6,000 feet deep unless you're a madman. I don't even think you get down there. But it's a freaking opportunity to actually go fish some of this stuff and get the slope fish and the rockfish that we haven't fished. So we're losing the nearshore stuff. Looks like a big chunk of it. We're not losing it completely. But looks like they're trying to scale back some of the health on that. But we get the deep stuff. So we've got kind of this whole other realm of fishing we get to deal with. For those of you guys that know, like I said earlier, we got 600 feet that we're allowed to fish, and you can only fish that so far off of the coast. So even though it's 600 feet, it's not 600 feet everywhere. It's like 600 feet within the near shore is now you're allowed to fish. So I think it's cool to be able to now fish unlimited depth is what it says. I mean, that's crazy. And that's awesome too. So there's fish here that are super deep that have never been caught before. Then we'll just finish up the reading it here. So it says next year is expected to bring a monumental shift in the sport ground fishing fishery, as all but one of the overfished species that drove the management decision to the better part of the past 2 decades are now healthy. The CDFW environmental program manager Marcy or America, I don't know how to say that. Our concerns for quillback and copper rockfish will impact the nearshore fishery in the coming years. There's also a number of new opportunities for anglers. So, yeah, that's what we got. Stay informed. You got their number and all that stuff. Like I said, I don't like losing the fishery. So go join the CCA. It looks like the biggest thing is they're trying to protect that quillback and that copper rockfish, which we don't even really have down here, which kind of sucks. So they're going to punish kind of like every tier, even the southern management, which they're not even fish that really come down this far. And even if there was, it was a bag limit of 1. But that seems like that's their biggest concern right now is protecting those 2 fish. So they're really going to scale back on the regulations. And yeah, so that's what we got there. Man, now if only, you guys, now we have this unlimited fishing depth that's coming up. If only somebody made a jig that was like 600 grams that can get down to these depths and slay these fish. If only some company, wait a minute. I do know a company that does it. I'm just joking with you guys. Those of you that don't know, we make jigs, and I have 400 and 600 jigs. I did not know this at the time of making this. We were making them for tuna, but I think those are going to be pretty badass jigs at this point. I didn't see this coming, but I think it's just kind of we stepped into a good spot with those. So definitely in the future, we got your jigs, guys, for those big ass rockfish, 600-700 feet down for sure. Sorry, guys, I was just reading. You gonna say goodbye?
Are you guys done?
No. Baby's got to say goodbye.
Going to bed.
Just going to bed.
Her big moment on the big screen.
Did you eat?
She did.
This is Baby Soleil. Bedtime. Say bye.
Good girl.
Sorry about that. Had to say goodnight before we put her down. That's the newest angler. Hopefully she likes to fish. If she doesn't, look, I'm just telling you guys straight up. I'm not ashamed to disown one of my children because I'll do it. I think I got to use that reverse psychology. Like, just tell her she can't fish. She'll be like, oh, no, that's daddy's thing. That's daddy's thing. And then she'll probably want to go. If I try to get her to fish, she's probably not going to want to fish. So I'll just make, oh, you can't go on the boat. It's not for girls. Oh, no, you're not allowed to fish. I'll like just tell her that for like her whole life. And then eventually she'll be like, no, I really want to go. She'll get in it. Let's see. I'm going to catch up on the chat real quick, guys, since I don't have my usual mods. So yeah, guys, give me your thoughts on all this new rock fishing regulations. What do you think? I want to hear what you guys have to say. The best episodes when Kevin's actually asking the real questions. Yeah, on the podcast for sure. Salty, yeah, dude. Nearshore is 100%. 100%. Kayakers getting the boot. What's interesting too is a lot of the sport boats too. That's like their bread and butter. The half day boats, I mean, that's what they do, right? They're all into that nearshore stuff. But kayak range, yeah. Unless, yeah, you know what? That's interesting. I don't know what. So one thing, now that I'm thinking about it, wasn't in any of this stuff. I guess we'll find out in 2023 or 2024. Is that it doesn't specify if you can go over a certain depth within the range. So you guys, if you've looked at the map, California has I don't even know if I could find it. Once I go down the rabbit hole of the fish and wildlife, it's like impossible to find anything. But once you get, I can't look for it. I'll never find it. There's a line of where you can fish inshore. So I don't know. Now, if they just go off of a depth, maybe because you can hit canyons and places in Carlsbad, which are still within that line within the canyon, that would still be near shore, but they're like 1,200 feet deep. So I don't know if they're considered a depth thing. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you're near shore, but they're going to be like, okay, even if you're a mile into the coast, if you're fishing 700 feet, you're okay. I don't know if that's going to be the case, or if you're going to have to go west a certain distance in order to be legal. I don't know. It's not listed in the stuff. So that's some of the things we're going to have to watch, right? There's going to be more details, I'm sure. A lot more stuff coming out. Yeah, but that kind of sucks. I wonder if that's why, if they're calling them and asking them questions. Yeah, Leonard, I don't know. Like I said, they don't really say. They give you that blanket statement of scientific. What the hell does that mean, right? Like, I want to see numbers. I want to know who you talked to, who was reported, the dock totals. I want to see your numbers from the last decade, from sport boats. I want to see all that stuff. But I'd looked. There's nowhere I can find it, so I don't know kind of where they're getting those numbers from. But like I said, we talked about that before. A lot of their information comes from us, the anglers. So that's a whole other slippery slope, right? As if we need to be giving them information. You make your own call on that. I can't say I have a deep opinion on that. Down in SDUs, welcome to the show. Glad you join us, Roy. They called me again yesterday, but I didn't answer this time either. I don't know if they've called me, but I wouldn't answer my phone. I usually don't answer my phone unless it's like somebody I know. If it's like an unknown number, because I get so many phone calls, like I usually don't answer unless you're like in my phone. Then I'll pick up every time. But yeah, I don't think they haven't left me any messages. So I don't think I've been getting calls from them. Oh yeah, what's the name showing on your phone when they call it? Yeah, definitely. Let's see. You're done spraying? Yeah, dude. Pizza. Submission at Sea Pizza. Captain Dan, gonna make it happen. There was no name on the number, but the first day they called, my dad answered my phone and took a message, and that's how I know. Oh, interesting. Those of you guys that don't know what Leonard's talking about, Eric the Judge Lehman talked about it too, is Fish and Game have been calling people, asking them questions that I've never heard of that before, like fishing habits and what they're fishing for and catching. So I don't know if it's related to this or not. Like I said, they don't really share that information. We'll see. Survey data by Recfin and Southwest Fisheries Management. That's what they get their data. Awesome. Dude, that's a huge help, Kevin. So that's where they're getting all their... I'll have to look into that organization and stuff. See what I can go through. See what we can find. Let's see. Yeah, survey data could be made to show any sort of outcome depending on how they adjust them all. Yeah. They just fluff it, right? Like it's one of those things where like you can make the number whatever it is. You'd be like, okay, well, if there's not this many bronze rockfish caught, then it's going to be in danger. Like you can just put a number that you know is not going to be met. So yeah, those numbers can be fluffed anyway, for sure. I don't trust anybody overseeing the waters and stuff like that. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. It's sort of like driving, right? Like when you drive, you could be pulled over for anything. It doesn't matter. A seatbelt, tires. They can say, "Oh, we thought you had window tint." Like it's just any reason they can pull you over. The fishing world is a lot like that too. Like they can just kind of stop your boat or make any kind of laws they want. They just come up with stuff. I totally agree with that. Yeah, adjust the data daily depending on what metrics that needs. See, we got a professional here, Dave. Do you work for Fish and Wildlife? Maybe are you the mole? You've been in here spying on us, fluffing the numbers. Let's see. I'm not the enemy. Okay, Kevin. So as you guys don't know, Fishing Reps, he's a member of the CCA. He's on the board and all that stuff. So this is somebody that knows what they're talking about when it comes to these things. These are the people. Captain Dan is on there too. Arnie as well. Fishing Reps. So these are the guys that help us protect our rights. So that's why I like to read a lot of their stuff. I literally asked PFMC council members if data in a model can be biased in one direction or the other, and they said yes, and it happens all the time. Yeah, not a surprise. Deep jigging, here we come. Get those heavy jigs ready. Yeah, dude, that is. I'm excited about that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the nearshore stuff sucks, but we shouldn't have to make the choice between one or the other. But I am excited that they're opening up that deep stuff. Mechanical reels, or what, those electric reels, looking at maybe a little more enticing these days. If you guys have never dropped 600 feet, it's a workout. It's fun, but you do not live bait fish at 600, 400, 500 feet. And the reason you don't, because if you go down there and you lose your bait and you didn't know you lost your bait, you're down there fishing for nothing. So that's just a pro tip before we get it. We'll talk about that probably when all these regulations come. But when you get that deep, if you've got like a piece of squid on or whatever, and sometimes it gets eaten on the way down, or you're on the bottom, it gets picked off. The last thing you want to do is reel a piece of live bait or cut bait up every single time to check it. And imagine reeling it up and you've got no bait on the end of your hook. And you were down there like 10 minutes. How long have you waited without bait on your hook? So you either wait, you don't get bit, or you reel it up to check it and there's nothing on there. Then you don't know how long. So artificials, jig fishing is the way to go when you're going deep, because you always know when that jig is on there. There's no question. You're always fishing. You're not like, oh, I lost my squid, I lost my bait. It's like, no, you feel the weight. You know that's your jig. It's not just the sinker. So I highly recommend, if you guys aren't into jig fishing, bottom fishing for stuff that deep, it's almost a necessity. You do not want to be checking for cut bait all the time, because it literally takes like minutes, like 5 minutes sometimes to reel up, and it's a pain in the ass. You definitely need to conserve your energy. Kind of kills, yeah, that's what we were talking about. Kind of kills the kayak rock fishing. Yeah, and so we are still going to have some time, but yeah, it's definitely going to cut into it for sure. If only I had yeah, man, we're gonna have to do some trips. We'll do like some scouting. Hey, we got some boaters here, man. There's quite a few. I know a lot of these guys put us on their boats too. I've got a boat. I've taken some of you guys out, so we'll definitely get you guys in the rotation now more than ever. We're gonna have to like come up with some rotation or something. Let's see. Oh yeah, see, I'm just catching up on the chat and I'm seeing all you guys. Yeah, I got to invest in the electric reel, dude, for sure. For sure. That might be a must if we're going that deep. Let's see. Yeah, put the baby to sleep. Baby cameo. Yeah, you guys saw her. Just found out from work that I got to leave for the 24th or 26th of September with the military. Just booked my ticket right now for submission at Sea Trip. It's a full day load. Is it a full load or light load? It's like we're trying to keep it low. So it's definitely like, it's like 30 people, maybe less. Heck yeah, dude. That's awesome. You're going though. That's super pumped. Yeah, we're not assholes and elbows. And almost everybody going is like people you see in the chat here. So super cool. Can't wait to drop a jig down 1,200 feet. Dude, I'm excited to drop a jig 1,200 feet. I'm not excited to reel up a jig 1,200 feet. That's for damn sure. 600 gram. Yeah, dude. Those jigs going to be the bomb. It was like perfect timing, dude. Next year. PE 1.5, 600 yards plus. Yeah, you got to go skinny. We'll get into all that next year when these things are going. But yeah, it's super light. You got to go super thin braid, super round braid. That's going to be the ticket for sure when you're getting down there. Deep rock. Right. Maybe I was on the board. Maybe I'm the mole. I'm like, hey guys, let's shorten up the nearshore stuff and like, let's open up unlimited depths. It's like the insider trading. I like the Congress people always like, they pass right before they pass all these laws. They like do all this stock trading and they're like, oh, I didn't know what was happening. I just made millions, like changing the laws. Yeah, I'm on the board. Making sure it goes down. Half day boats. Don't want people. Yeah, for sure. I don't know what they're gonna do, Salty. You're right. Like the fishing deeper than 500 feet, even deeper than like 300 feet. That's not beginner stuff. Especially if you don't fish and you're not in shape, like in that fishing shape. Dude, it's gonna burn people out quick. So that kind of sucks. Yeah, they're gonna have a rough go of it, or they're just really gonna learn. I mean, calicos are still up, all right. We still got the bass, but who wants to go catch sand bass year round? Or they become really good halibut fishermen, but that's tricky for a boat full of people. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, all the numbers are posted. Nice. They've called me 3 times this week. Damn, they're on you, Leonard. That's crazy. Am I being detained? Yeah. No, sir. Where am I free to go? You guys been watching those the auditors, huh? We need the angler auditors out there. I don't believe you, Dave. I'm pretty sure you work for the fishing companies. Yeah, dude. It's not that far. If we can get to the canyon, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what the parameters are going to be. That's what we're going to have to find out. I'm sure we'll find. I'm sure there'll be some more disappointment down the line. Because you know how they do it. It's like they find the kind of the lowest common denominator and then like make that into like law or whatever. Like whatever easiest. They don't put that much thought into it. They're like, what's something everybody can adhere to or we don't have to think that much? Like, okay, sign it. That's kind of what happens. It's a shame. It's a shame. Are you down? It's probably fish bumping your line. It's probably fish bumping your line all the way along 1,200 feet. Well, if you get a slow pitch jig down quick, they probably won't bite it unless it's like sideways. Ooh, Joey Bass in. That's right. If you can torpedo it down, yeah, any other jig, it's anybody's guess. But I think that's why if you throw a big enough one down, you probably got a good chance that you're not going to get slayed on the way down. Let's see here. So yeah, that's all I got for that, guys. Hopefully that was informative. We're going to keep up on it, obviously, as the laws change. And as they get rolled in, that was just kind of the overview. I doubt that's the final thing. But we'll be on it. You guys come here, Submission Fishing Live, the live podcast. We'll be all over it. We'll be checking it out, making sure we know what's legal, what's not. And we're keeping an eye on these guys. Somebody has to. Remember, guys, get involved with this stuff too. So if you want to make the change, join the CCA, make calls, just get involved, protect our fishery, right? I mean, I want my daughter to fish someday. I know you guys want your kids and grandkids to be able to fish. So we got to fight for that sort of stuff. And luckily, it's a give and a take on this one. So like I said, it's not complete butchery. They're closing one opportunity, opening another, but we should just have the other one open as well. And yeah, I think that's it. I got some questions. I think I only have one question. Fishing Rubs wants to know what's the perfect slow pitch rod. Perfect slow pitch rod. I like long butt, obviously, acid wrapped, and it's got to have a good parabolic bend to it. But here's the thing with the slow pitch rod. If you're gonna ask me for my perfect rod, I have some or one that like it's super parabolic, but when it loads up, it shakes like crazy because it's so springy. When a fish are fighting it, it's like wobbling, like when you get a piece of was that like sheet metal or something, you shake it, or like a saw, like that's kind of what it does. And I've got some that when you pull on it, it just stays bent and you feel the shake, but the rod's not bouncing like wild. So I like having that consistent pull to it without having like a lot of bounce. So just like a steady pull. Obviously super parabolic. The slow pitch rod I think is pretty easy to get down. The biggest thing is that I've been casting these jigs a lot, like the 40 and 60 grams, catching calicos and halibut and sand bass and stuff on the cast. So what I'll do is I'll cast it out like 100 yards and I pull it as I'm coming back. And that's where I've been using like a long fall, like a stick bait rod, but I think it's a little bit too stiff. So finding one that can be fished from shore is really going to be key. That's got a nice soft bend because I work the action as I come back. So as you're yanking it, you're actually doing the slow pitch action as you're bringing it towards you. But finding one that's got like that can throw 40 or 60 gram and get that nice kind of whip to it horizontally, that's been kind of tough to fish. I've been doing it with the long fall rods. That's kind of what they're built for, but they're a little too heavy. I think they need a little more, be a little more parabolic, a little softer. And that should be good. I don't like fast. I like slow rods. I like slow sets. I like kind of soft, like mushy rods when I pull them in. I don't really like fast, snappy stuff, at least for slow pitch jigging. Even for like jig fishing, like Ned rigs and stuff like that, I don't like super fast action rods. I kind of like to just reel in slow and just get that big kind of bend and parabolic pull to it. And that's just my personal preference. Let's see here. The tuna guy wants to know, have you ever dabbled in BFS style fishing? Yeah, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. And yeah, I do. I got a BFS, the bait finesse system. I got a reel. I got the Scorpion, Shimano Scorpion I imported. Actually, I just bought it from Amazon, but I can't read any of it. It's all in Japanese, but yeah. And I got one of those on like a small slow pitch rod, and I've been using it. It's pretty good. So I've been throwing like little 20 grams with that and smaller, pitching the docks with it and casting it out and stuff. And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's fun. It definitely works. So I think spinning rod is like the easiest way to do the light stuff. But if you got the skill, the BFS it definitely works. So I've been using it, been catching spotties with it too. It's fun. You know, you got the little drag on it and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely. I know a lot of you freshwater guys are probably into that as well. But yeah, I mean, I spooled one out, like chucking a 20 gram, and it was like, you can freaking bomb those things. It's crazy. I know they're made to just kind of like flip and toss the small stuff, but yeah, they work, dude. Definitely been getting into it. I know some of these guys too have been really getting into it too. So I can definitely attest to it. I know Brian likes to fish. He was kind of like the first one. Him and Eric, I never even heard about it till a couple months ago, and they both had the reel, so they turned me on to those for sure. Let's see. Yeah. Acid wrap. I think acid wrap is a must for slow pitch jigging. Just the nature of the jigging, you got to have those guides downturned when you're like jigging and reeling up a fish. Like I think that's one of the most important things too. Also, if I had a dream rod, I tell Taipan I need a something that throws the 400 to 600s. Like I have the Megalodon, but it's not really a slow pitch rod. It doesn't really. It's just kind of like a glorified boat rod. I need something that can actually pitch those jigs, heavy enough with the Toray carbon that's going to bend and actually get one of those up. Now that would be something else. I mean, that'd be a dream rod for sure. What's Eric saying? Yeah, live bait would not do too well that deep. Same for humans. When you free dive the depth, unless you yeah. Cut bait, I think, or jigs for sure. Has anyone tried the Daiwa Harrier slow pitch rod? I have not. I'm sure somebody in here has for sure. Oh, of course, Kevin has. I owned a few Harrier rods, decent for the money, not true slow pitch rod actions. Okay. They're fast action. That's awesome. Yeah, spotties on the BSF setup has been really fun. It is fun for sure. The only thing I don't like is like the drag is so low. If you get one of those accidental like halibuts or something, you're pretty much screwed. I think mine's got like 7 pounds of drag. Even there, it's like, I don't know if it's 7 pounds. It's super light. Even buttoned down, it's like small spotties be clicking that thing off, taking drag. So I'm like, it's fun, but yeah. If you catch a legal hally, which does happen in the docks and stuff sometimes, I don't think you're gonna land that fish. That's the only negative. If they make one a little more beefy, but then again, I don't know how that works with the small spool and all that. You might be shooting yourself in the foot. You could try a slow drop bait, but not fast like you maybe used to. Eric, you trying to fish live bait at 1,200 feet or what? I mean, you can do anything, but that's up to you. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. It was super awesome. Hopefully you learned something. Arnie, I don't know if I saw you in here, but happy birthday for watching the. Don't know if I saw you come in. If I did miss it, you guys, thanks for watching. Yeah, keep an eye on this stuff. Thank you for Cal. Cal, I don't see him in here either today. He's the one that tipped me off to the story. Sent it in my DM, so I appreciate that, Cal. Dude, good looking out. Saw that before anyone. I think we're the first ones really talking. I haven't heard anybody talking about it, so we're the first ones in the know. So keep your ear to the ground. Make sure you're listening to the changes. Get involved if you don't like the changes, so we can change it. Also, guys, go out there and fish. Probably do some bait fishing, shore fishing this week. It's going to be windy, but get out there if you can, if you're experienced or you know where to fish. Hey, more power to you. And yeah, we got the what is it? August 13th, guys. We're getting together. The Spotty Bowl award ceremony. Even if you weren't in Spotty Bowl, come join us. Come hang out. So we're all going to be there. It's going to be raffles and stuff like that. So it's a good time to meet everybody, get together. That should be fun. I think it's a Saturday in Mission Bay, right? I have to get more details. Eric Lehman, he's the one to reach out to if you see him on Instagram or whatever. Go find him. He can set you up, get you the address and all that stuff. So if you want to come hang out, buy some raffle tickets. Should be a good start. Good time, I mean. Yeah, but thanks for joining, guys. Like always, if you want to become a member, support the show, get the belt, get the perks, get the custom icons, helps out the show. If you want to buy some jigs, submission fishing jigs, get ready, guys. We're coming 600 feet plus, 1200 depth. Get those 600 grams. Submissionfishing.com. And if not, hey, thanks for joining. Doesn't cost you anything to watch. I just appreciate you guys are here. And yeah, let's go get those black belts in fishing. Oos.